Oh my god. This whole time, guys, this whole freaking time, my microphones have been down. This whole time, I've been talking. I've been saying a lot of stuff. I'm an idiot.
No.
My stupid microphones, whatever. Let me start over from the beginning. What I started saying 9 minutes ago. How's it going, everybody? I'm Drifty from Driftwood Gaming, and I'm joined with T. Hello, T.
Hello.
Again, and she's going to be here while the baby's not crying. And, I had a good little start to the whole thing, didn't I? Anyway, so I've been watching some NES long plays, and I was watching Crystallis, and so I kind of looked at the artwork there. Obviously I'm working on my game. I've already said all this, so I don't remember what I haven't covered and what I have covered. What I'm going to be doing in this episode is doing Aseprite art. I need 8 animations. I need a walking down, 2-frame basic animation, and attacking facing down. I need a walking right, attacking right, a walking up and attacking up, and then for the left I can duplicate the right. So that is a total of 4 for the downs, 4 for the rights, 4 for the ups. So that's 12 images, and I can duplicate the facing right for the facing left. Basically today, all morning, I've been using Aseprite, trying to do pixel art, and pixel art's hard. It's very hard for me, because you're not drawing a face and 2 arms and 2 legs and feet and hands, and you're drawing dots and lines and hoping that you can trick your viewer into seeing the rest of everything. When you zoom out, you hope that you can see all those things. Now, I've been watching NES long plays, like I said, and I've been watching Crystallis, one of my favorite games as a kid, and so I was freeze-framing the play and replicating, using only 4 colors, the sprites. Of course, I've changed it a little bit so that it's not like copyright infringement. Also, I'm going to change the colors so it's less obvious. But I wanted to kind of pay homage to such a fantastic game. And so I've been using that kind of style. And I haven't put these in the game yet. Last night, I was also working on new, without looking at a reference, I remade the image and decided I want to use 32 by 32. And I tried to put in some code to make the game. I suppose I should start with my train of thought yesterday too. So my guy, he wants to stab things, guys. He needs to stab things. His animation is on a loop, and I can't fix it because of the way that I kind of watched some Sean Spalding tutorials on how to make player states, and gosh, there's so much I can talk about, and everything's flooding to me at the same time. I feel I'm very scatterbrained. I'm not going to use this animation for the main character. I know in last week, and even Monday, I was talking about how I wanted to make this like a first-person battle system, where it was very similar to like the old RPG Maker style, but what's the point of doing an RPG in GMS2 that's going to be like an RPG that you can make in RPG Maker, because it'd be better off done in RPG Maker. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I differentiate this, and how do I make a good game with GMS2, an RPG, that you couldn't actually do that well on RPG Maker. And then I started thinking about some of my favorite games, and Crystallis came to mind. And so I started watching Crystallis long plays, and I'm like, you know what, I want to make a game kind of like Crystallis a little bit. The same kind of, I guess it's called action battle system. So you're going to be attacking things on the screen, not like you random encounter and you get into a battle and stuff. So that left me wondering, what am I going to do with the AP? I might take it out, but then we also came up, I was asking T and her feedback was very useful, and she gave me an idea of like, well, making special moves, and your special moves with your weapons determine like how many times you can do them is determined by your AP, and they regenerate, and so we started talking about different ideas. And so, I mean, I've updated the inventory. I suppose I should start with that. I've updated the inventory a little bit so that now when you equip things, it shows you those things, not just the name, but also a smaller icon of it. I put small icons on the left-hand side. I put experience, hit points, and mana points bars up. I changed the way that your max HP and MP are calculated, as well as some other things. I made some cheat buttons so that I can just gain like 2,000 something experience when I press this insert and X, just to see what happens to my stats and HP and MP as the character levels up. And so now we can actually level up our character and see what happens. I capped the level at 100 and kind of set up our max HP to be 100,000, well, 99,999, and then max MP to be 9999, and tried to get a good balance where you would have about half of those numbers by the time you hit level 100. So at level 100, you do cap your max MP, but you don't cap your max HP, so I need to reduce the amount of mana points you get a little bit, so that you have like maybe 5,000 with a cap of 10,000 when you hit level 100, to let gear and other stats and buffs take you past up to that cap and whatnot. And so our inventory system is fully operational. We just need to add more items to it. I'm going to add sound effects too for like equipping and unequipping stuff. Speaking of the sound design, we do that. I typically do that at the end of the game, before as the last pass through. T has been making some really cool background musics for me on Beatbox, and she's still doing that right now. Let's check out what's up on the chat. Skepsis D, thank you for coming. I said hello, but it was the mic was out. I had the volumes all the way down. Hopefully it sounds better now. Hello, Vero Claw 23. Yeah, I had myself muted. Sorry about that. Carl Jones, hello. Condor 1001, hello. I am taking it. He is aware of no sound. Now I'm aware of no sound, yeah. I was muted. Thank you guys for letting me know. Sorry about that. I'll try to be more on point. I was a little preoccupied messing with Aseprite constantly, and I didn't realize it was already 1:45, and I was scrambling to put everything ready to go to live stream. And then I had a discussion with T about how I don't title my videos as well as I could be titling them, and that's half because I don't really know what I'm going to be working on, but I did today, so I changed that. Hopefully that they're more helpful in the future. Epic Mighty in a Cloud, how are you doing? You just installed Aseprite Condor. That's really good. I love Aseprite. Been using it a lot. Skepsis says, I'm definitely getting better. Thank you so much. I think what's really helped me, Skepsis, is looking at something. I think I've been trying to do all of my pixel art without a reference, just like straight from my head, and that's not a good way to do it. I think I can do some things that way, but most things I'm unable to like visualize that well. But if I'm looking at something and I have a point of reference, I can replicate it well without like copying or tracing it. Just change it up a little bit as, especially if you're using a different resolution, it's going to be different. So that's kind of what I've been doing with the Crystallis looking images, watching from a video, and I'm pausing it and then like full screening it and looking, and then I'm drawing a little bit and looking and drawing a little bit, and it's been frustrating, but like I've been able to get some stuff down, and I'm going to try to keep working on. This guy's still stabbing. What I was saying when I realized my mic wasn't working was I was watching some tutorials on Game Maker Studio 2 over the weekend from various people, and I put in one from Sean Spalding with the player states, and so that I can like set up my attack animations to be kind of cleaner. But I need artwork, so that's what I've been spending the rest of my time last night and today working on, is getting the artwork. I tried to make this guy stabby man, but I obviously have something wrong in the code that I set up because it's looping the animations, and I knew I wanted to make better animations because like I can't make my guy attack up. There's no real walking animation, and going left and right is the only the only two that I have. I don't have facing down. How do I swing down? How do I swing up? I tried doing this by creating objects, and it just looks jank, especially if you're moving. It creates objects, and then you walk away, and the sword is still on the ground swinging. It looks stupid, so I'm trying to do the attack animation in the actual sprite, and then have states toggle, so that if I'm in attack state, then it switches my bit mask and like my collision hitbox, and it switches my my image index. That way, it the character looks like it's animating and moving and it's coming to life. So I'm working on it still. I spent a lot of time over the weekend working on the user interface, and I really like where it's at now. It's very basic. There's a lot of text, but still, we have a shadow on the text. We have a background. We put a border over the background. I checked out the Guild 3 over the weekend, and I noticed that they had a lot of Photoshop-like looking stuff, and I'm like, hey, I can kind of do that. And they had like this very basic Photoshop kind of theme like this thing I made in Photoshop, but they had like this cool looking gold border around it. I'm like, hey, why don't I take that idea and put it in my game? So I made some gold borders with drawing rectangles. If I minimize it, you can see that it kind of becomes a solid border. But then as I stretch it out, they become like I don't know, a border of a border. I don't know what I'm saying anyway. We've got some updates to the UI. Maybe use action points for a special power. Yep. Hello, Yakub Ayers. I think that was what our consensus was. We'll have weapons do a basic attack, but then they also have a charged attack, like you hold and then you release to release the attack, and then that takes AP. Skepsis says reference is king, even if you know what it looks like. Yeah, it definitely helps me when I'm using a reference. Cool Sora says, hello, I'm playing Undertale for the first time. Oh, cool. Enjoy it. Kill everything Undertale. Super Boss Jason says, Drifty, I like the menu style, looks good. Thank you, I appreciate it. It's it's all functional. It's not just graphical, it's functional. If I add another item, like copy, paste, change, it will show without much, I don't have to make little tiny sprites over here because it takes the same sprite, and using the power of Draw Sprite EXT, it puts it in a miniature version in the right spot over here. In fact, when I take off a sprite, it's drawing a blank transparent sprite as a placeholder. Yeah, so I'm really happy with being able to code in stuff to save me the trouble of having to make more resources. I didn't have to resize this at all in Photoshop or anything. I was originally going to do that, and I'm like, wait, what if I just shrink it and draw it using existing art? And that worked perfectly. And I was trying to do the same thing for drawing attack animations, but it just doesn't work that great. I need to just make the sprites better. Anyway. I'm going to get back to the Aseprite stuff. I wanted to update you guys on the menu and what I've actually put a lot of time into and what I'm working on now. I did want to go over this at the bottom. It could be unclear what this really is, but at the top, when you have a plus number, that's the amount of damage that's being added to your attacks. And then the negative number is how much damage is being reduced of that element type when you get hit. So you have an added damage to your attacks and a reduced damage from being hit. So you want both of these to be high numbers, even though this is negative. You want them to be as high as you can to take less damage from it. So say you get a lightning shield, it would give you maybe 10 lightning damage reduction or something. Yeah. But anyway. What happens to the experience bar when you max out your experience is it fills up again, but it's level 100, so it just counts how much experience you have. So after you get level 100, your experience bar still adds the amount of experience you get, I guess, for whatever reason, but it doesn't show a maximum anymore. So let's go over the code real quick. I can show you how I did all of this. Obviously, I made a lot of sprites in Aseprite to make that work. Let's get the project kind of opened. I've been putting in a lot of scripts that I've found for trying to make a player state work. Watching tutorials online is really helping a lot get better. So now inside this step, I have basically a switch state with different player states, which it just runs like whatever state we're in, run a script instead of running what's inside the code here. On the crate here, I'm still setting up the code for tile set collision instead of object collision. I'm gonna uncheck. I was watching something else, and I want to uncheck solid off of all of my objects just to see if it works still, if it doesn't cause. Okay, so none of these are solid. None of these are set to solid. It's the player. I mean, that's essentially it then. So if I uncheck solid, do I still have collisions with the tile set? I should actually. It's been coded so that, yeah. So I can't run into the wall here. It does kind of like glitch out on the, not really glitch. It's just like a graphic thing. It doesn't cause like any gameplay change. Like it doesn't let you get through the wall where there's a collision. But it does kind of like look jank when I'm like running to the left side. It's strange though because it doesn't do it when I'm running to the right or down or up, just bouncing into the left. It does like this seizure mode. So I don't know what causes it. I think, I figured out what's causing this to look really weird when I go at an angle. It's because I'm having the camera follow the object player. And instead what I should be doing is having the camera move in the code itself instead of having the GMS's Game Maker Studio 2's innate camera movement following an object. I shouldn't use object following basically. So I'm going to change that eventually, but one thing at a time. I'm going to just deal with like the seizure-ness for right now, but I found a way to fix that. We'll make some more tile sets. NoobKX actually Nox NoobK. Now his name is Nox. He sent me a lot of great art to use, and I definitely want to use that art in the game. So I've got like tons of good stuff. Can you show your tile set collision code? Asked Tim van der Ploeg. Yes, I can. It's a combination of 3 different tutorials online from GM Wolf. I think Heartbeast, and probably various elements of other tutorials I've seen. So I always try to like code it myself first, and then I'm like, okay, if I can't figure it out, I'm like, I need to watch a tutorial and see another method, and that's what I've been doing with every aspect of the game, and I try to make my own, but I also don't have a problem with like copying somebody's method if it works perfectly. So I'm using GM Wolf's method, but I've changed a few things so that it works in my game. I actually did the same code in a platformer, but I had to change it a lot for the jumping and stuff as well. But anyway, let's look at the code for the collisions. First of all, I'll show you the map, and I have a collision layer, and I'm calling it collision layer 16, and then I have the instance layer and walls and grounds. So the collision are just these red boxes, and I'm not going to go through how to do everything because you could watch GM Wolf's tutorial. It's like 20-30 minutes long, but I will show you the code. You basically make a sprite for a box, and it's got to be twice the size. So if it's 16 by 16, you want to make it 32 by 16 because remember when you make it a tile set, the first tile has to be completely blank. And then you make the sprite, and then you actually make the tile set as well. So the tile set collision it's 32 by 16, it's got a blank one and then a box, so that's what you're going to be drawing. And then you reference that tile set. And so anything that you bounce into with that red box will act as a collision, and it's a lot more optimized than using objects. So the code for that is on the player, and the setup is I'm setting a speed in the walk mode, creating a variable, using layer get ID, and then setting a variable layer tilemap get ID so it knows what layer to look for those boxes. It doesn't matter what you call it. You don't have to call it collision layer 16. But we're using the sprites bounding boxes for that. So I'll show you the code right here, but if you really want to learn it and do it, you should look up GM Wolf. He's fantastic. It's an older tutorial, but it still works great. And you're going to use bounding boxes. So I'm using these bounding boxes using the sprite index. That's on the setup. And then on the step, which you know he shows you to put it on the step, but I moved it because I was incorporating another thing, player states. So I moved it to player state free. So I'll open up the script for player state free, but keep in mind this would be on the step phase. So we're declaring temporary variables. I don't know if he actually uses X move and Y move. He uses a different method. Maybe it's the same, but anyway, I'm using this A and or left to move left and right, and I'm setting the image X scale to -1 to reverse it when I go left. That's why I don't need 18 pieces of 18 images or 16 images for 8 animations. I only need 12 because the facing right can just be drawn as a flip by X scale -1, image X scale -1, and that'll reverse it. So you only need 12 images. But anyway, doing that there, that's just the control to get the inputs, and then saying if we're in walk mode, then use walk speed. If you're not in walk mode, then use your base speed. And then this is a little code to determine that if we're moving in a diagonal way, it doesn't go twice as fast. Instead, it doesn't get 50% faster. It reduces it so that you're always moving the same speed. It's not just going, because otherwise, if you don't do this little section, when you move left, you go left, but if you move down, you go down. But if you move left and down at the same time, you move faster. So this is to get around that. And then basically, GM Wolf kind of explains it very well. I'll just show it to you. We're using tile map, get at pixel, using the tile D and the bounding boxes, and then we're also amending at and tile index mask, so we don't have to have another line. And we're using some nice looking code here. This number will change right here depending on if you're using 32 by 32 or 16 by 16. Or it has to, in order to do this, it has to be a factor of 2. So you can do 8 by 8, 16 by 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. You're not going to have that big, but you get the point. And that's pretty much it. Then you have the shift to toggle what mode you're in. And this is part of the other thing, a different one. Okay, let me go back to what I said I was going to be doing in this. Okay, I have a point of reference up. So here's what I have over here. I'm using this as a point of reference. So I'm going to try to replicate this. Of course, it's going to be different. It's not going to look as good as this. But I don't want to just copy it exactly. I just want to use this as a point of reference. And I will also recolor it as a different color later. So I'm going to press Alt-N and create a new frame. So I've got my down attack, 2 frames. I've got my down walk, 2 frames. I've got my move right, 2 frames. Now I need my attack right and move up. I suppose I should do the attack up first. But I can move these frames around, so it's not a big deal. I'm just going to draw the up one. You know what's up, dog? It's left. Let's move right, which we can use for left. And then, okay, so this one. I'm going to erase it. And, oh god, it's so slow and painful, but I'm going to try to do it. Okay, so I'm going to start at the bottom. I started at the top and found that I messed up my dimensions and had to move everything around quite a bit. So starting at the bottom where I know it's going to touch the bottom is gives me an anchor point, so I kind of prefer that. So I'm going to do this. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I kind of want to draw it like this, though. Pixel art is hard, and I've kind of found a new respect for pixel artists throughout this whole process of making this game, and the last few games as well. Like the difficulty. See, now this is not the right size. This is too large. Okay, I'm gonna do this like that. Okay, that's right. Closer anyway. Like I said earlier, it's not like you're drawing a head and legs and arms. You're drawing lines and dots, and hopefully it looks right when you're done. Hopefully it can trick the viewer into thinking that there are these things there. Gosh, I kind of lost my place. Let's try this again. Nope. Gosh, no, let's try this. The benefit is, if I get it right and close enough, well then I don't have to make any more, like I don't have to, like it'll look good, and then my pixel art for my character is done, and I can focus on something else. With game design, you have to wear a lot of hats, and you probably won't like all of the hats that you have to wear. In fact, you're most likely not going to like all of the hats that you have to wear. But you wear them if you want to get your games done. I do like that I've limited myself to 4 colors because it does make it easier and you don't have to worry about so much um, what color that you're using. It lets you, I don't know, you think that restricting yourself would make it harder, but I find the opposite to be true. I think it's easier having less colors. And before I tried it, because I've heard this before, and before I tried that, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But in practice, it really does help. So if you're trying to make some pixel art for your game, give it a shot. Say, I'm only going to use 8 colors, or I'm only going to use 6 colors, or 8 or 4 colors, or whatever. And then, that's too far. Oh no, I messed up. Darn it. I have to go like this. It's kind of hard to see this such a small resolution. Plus, this guy's probably playing the game on an emulator, which changes the way it renders a little bit. And then YouTube's algorithm also compresses the video so that it loses some pixel density, so that makes it a little blurred as well. So I'm trying to replicate an image that's a copy of a copy of a copy by just looking at it and drawing it. Which, you know, try as I might, I won't replicate it very well. I mean, it will be something similar, but it'll still be something very different. Which is actually what I want. It's kind of what I want. I don't want to just, like I said, I could download this. I could just find this on the internet if I wanted to rip it, but I'm not trying to rip it. I'm trying to be inspired by it and create something in the style, in the likeness of, not just straight copy. You know what I mean? Should this circle be bigger? I feel like I can go like this. And then like this too. Yep, that makes more sense. And then for here, you can go like this. Okay, okay. That might work. And then over here, kind of looks like he's stepping forward with his left. I don't know, it still looks kind of jank. Well, that helps, the shadow. And this needs to be balanced a little bit over here better. Okay, so that's not too bad. So when we zoom out, it looks like a sprite and a shadow who's kind of taken a step. And it's about the similar, I mean, it looks a little wider, which it should. So, I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm going to press Control S and save that. Let me catch up on chat, because I was looking at another screen. Catch up. Tim Van Der Plug says, I tried to make my own tileset collision code, but it's pretty hard for a beginner. Yeah, if you're just trying to understand the bounding boxes for the first time, I've watched GM Wolf's video like 3 or 4 times, and paused and stopped and started, and like trying to understand it. Like I understand how it works now, but I didn't understand how it worked at first, and or even at the second time I went through. But I was able to copy the code and replicate how it worked. And at the beginning, you don't have to fully understand everything. Hopefully somebody who's making a tutorial will explain it as they're doing it, but even if they don't, if they give you code that works, you can use that code that works, and then as you get better, you'll be looking at that code as you go through, and you'll start to understand here and there. And if you don't fully understand it, that's fine. Just try to find code that works and do your best. Don't worry about too much. And don't try to reinvent the wheel. This is a problem I had when I first started. I'm like, I'm not going to watch tutorials. I'm going to just do it myself, and I'll figure it out on my own. Well, you could do that, but you know what? You're gonna waste a lot of time, and there's so much that you have to learn that it doesn't make sense. There's nothing wrong with watching somebody's tutorial, copying the code, and then later on changing it to make it work and fit in your game. Everybody does that, and everybody who's got anywhere has done something like that, and if they tell you otherwise, they're straight lying to you. And if they haven't, then they've copied code directly out of the help file and changed it, because that's just what you do. That's how you get better. You need that example, you know. Hopefully that helps. Yeah, check out GM Wolf. He's got a lot of good tutorials. Heartbeast, fantastic person. Benjamin's a great person, and he's got a lot of great tutorials. He's doing a lot of Godot stuff now, but I'm also into that. Sean Spalding, just a really cool guy, and he's got just a wealth of tutorials and knowledge. There's a lot of good resources out there. Finding the right way to make curves or shading is difficult, AF, says Volpe. I agree, Volpe. I'm just trying to figure it out myself. I don't consider myself a really good pixel artist, but I am getting better just by doing it. Rick Fox says the game beat me, I think. Okay. It looks like a Power Ranger. You know, he does kind of have like a Power Ranger suit on. I used to watch Power Rangers as a kid. I don't really care. Cool, Sora. You're doing pacifist route? Okay, cool. Take care, Rick Fox. Yeah, I mean, I like that. Let me go back to... Actually, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, guys. Thank you for your patience. Back. Alright, so we have the down attack, which is 2 frames. We have the down walk, 2 frames. We have the right walk, 2 frames. And we're making the up walk. You guys know what's up, dog? Alright, so let me go back to the NES long play and try to do this freeze frame thing and get the other image, which I found it luckily quickly. Nice. So T just got, I'm not going to say the numbers, but T just got off the phone with the insurance company, and we got our quote for the mishap. And it looks good.
Yeah, it's more than we expected. We're happy.
It looks good. So good news. Yeah, boy. Geico, not a sponsor, but Good
Oh.
company.
When I switched to Geico, this is no joke, I saved $800 a year on my car insurance.
Hashtag not a sponsor. Okay. All right. I found the other image. I'll show it to you guys. This is the other frame. We can see that. Come on. Can we do this? Thank you very much. We can see that this is the left walk, or the taking a left step. Now this is the opposite, where you're taking a right step. So the hand is going to swing. The hand is going to swing a little bit. Yes. It's going to swing back, right, with the left foot. So boom, boom. So we need to bring the arm down from over here to being more of a box and a little bit lower. And we make the feet change mostly so that we have more white colors here and more dark shadow over here, and change it so that it looks like he's stepping in a different direction. And that's essentially it. I mean, also some minor things where pixel change, we can get rid of this white one here, and then spread out this. So we can do some minor changes. It's hard to make a good animation with only 2 frames, so I'm going to do my best. I'm going to get back to this. Okay. So did I copy it? Earlier I drew an image and then I erased it and like it was good and done, and then I erased it and then drew the next one, and I'm like, well, what happened to the last one? I had both of them. So I had to copy it. I had to put it in Photoshop from the drawing that I drew, and then press Control Z until it undid everything, and then it redrew the other frame, and then I created a new layer and put this one in there. So luckily, Aseprite, once again, what a fantastic application, has a very long undo history, and I really think that's fantastic because it saved me having to redraw something I already drew. I feel like this should be I see why they did that though. It's fine. Okay, let's try to make the changes. I'm going to start at the bottom and then work my way up, kind of like the opposite of that you would read. We have 7, so 8 is clear to change. And I'm using hotkeys now to make it faster. I'm using I and B to go back and forth between these two. As I make more sprites, I'm memorizing hotkeys a little bit better. As it comes with every application, the more you use it, the more you're going to memorize shortcuts and whatnot. So let's shadow this area up and switch it so that it's like this, like that. And let's bring this ankle down and foot down. I don't know about that. One, two. Oh yeah, this is another thing that's causing it to look weird. I mean, that kind of is getting there. What if I just go like this, though? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, and then making my way up a little bit more. I feel like this should come in a little bit. Wait. I don't know. What about like this? Then that. And like that. Because now the left side should be less shadowed, right? Yeah, let's do that. about that? What about that? And then we take this, put it there, put that there. It'll look different, which will give us the illusion that it's moving as well. That actually cleaned up pretty nice, okay. As far as this, I feel like it needs to come in a little bit. Like, let's put this right there and delete that one. And then we can move this over. Yeah. Let's delete that. And that one. What about that? The shadow, no, I need that shadow to be at least like that. Of course, the shadow is going to be more to the... That actually might work. Let's see if we compare them. You know, it does look like he's kicking his feet there. He's moving. Let's get the hand. Let's fix the hand now. So the hand needs to swing down. So in order to make that happen, we should make this a little brighter up here. Actually, I need to go like this. No, I messed up again. Can't right-click with the dropper tool because then it gets rid of your opacity. There we go. I don't know. Need to go like this. No, not that. Sometimes I just get like a little stuck too. You know, it does seem to come down a little bit. You know what? I'm okay with it. That doesn't look too bad. What about the head? I don't know if I should like have the head bobble a little bit or something. Okay, let's look at the last two. So this is left and then taking a step. I might want to add a third frame, but I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Let's look at down. Those feet really kick out, don't they? Boom, boom, and the hand comes down. And then boom, 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 boom. Alright, I'm okay with that. So I need the attack to the right and attack to the top. Let me hit save on this. Take a look at the chat, and then we're going to switch to, I'm going to scrub for a attack. Epic Mighty in the Cloud is remastering your his VX Ace game to MV. Cool. I did that when MV first came out. There's actually a plugin, Epic Mighty, that lets you convert it. It works mostly. I find typing what you are trying to recreate and the words sprite art and searching Google Images gives me a lot of inspiration. For instance, wood sprite art is giving me some ideas for wood. Oh, this game. Hello, Skipper. How you doing? Hello, Nixon. You have a good day too. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Noob K. In this case, don't make the head bobble. Raise the whole sprite up and down 1 pixel to give it the illusion. Okay. Yeah, why not do that? That's easy. Okay, let's select this one. And then we'll just raise everything up 1. So what about that? Oh, no kidding. It added so much, didn't it? Maybe I should do that to the other ones too. Look at that. That was a great suggestion. It looks so much more animated just by moving the entire thing 1 pixel. Okay, what about from here to here? Should I move it? For those of you who don't know, Noob, by the way, Knox now he's been doing pixel art for a while. I remember talking to Noob a couple years ago, and so should I move it up and down or left to right, Noob? What do you think? My assumption is left to right, but you're probably up and down, huh? Just raise it 1. Oh my God, it's so much better, dude. Fantastic. Okay, so that goes like that, and it looks a lot better. And then this looks a lot better. And then for this, I should do the same thing. I should raise it up 1. Boom. And then I got this happening. Yep, it actually looks animated. The sprite moves left to right naturally across the screen, so don't worry about that motion. Sure. The attack motions will be a little bit harder. Like for example, drawing this was extremely complicated for me. It took me a long time for this little thing. And I also have, this was the first one I drew, so he's very small. Like it's not the same, this was my first attempt. And then as I started drawing more, I got a little bit cleaner and better at it. By the end of it, I'm doing a much better job of replicating it. Plus I raised the size, so it gave me some more room to add the details. But these first two, this is the preparing for an attack, and then this is the attacking. I feel like I should stretch this image. He looks like a big fat boy now. Should I undo that stretch? I don't know. Like, so this is the preparing to attack, and then this is the attacking. Sort down, like the collision box will be right here. Actually, this entire box will be the collision box. And I'm sure I'll have to do some finagling and wiggling to get the sprites to look right when they switch from walking to attacking. But I'm okay with that. I just want to have a good set of sprites to work with. Because he's going to go from this to this, and it looks so different. My first attempt was really shoddy. Let me go back. So this was the first attempt. And he shrinks and like changes so much. I should just redraw it. I don't want to though. Gosh. Because it's going to be walking down and then switch to this sprite and then this sprite and then go back to this sprite. But you'll see this, and then back to this. You'll be walking, boppy doopy doop, and then you start to swing, you go boom, 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 boom. Walking, walking, boom, boom, boom. It works fine, it's just about getting the point across. Okay, so you start with frame 4 that you have and add the sword to that frame. That way the sprite keeps some cohesion. Yeah, because it looks like you just transform into a different sprite, because this is my first attempt. So I should probably backburner that one and redraw. I mean, this, I think because I'm using this as an attack sprite, it works fine. You want most of it to be the weapon so that you can have like an area to attack. So this one actually works fine, but this one looks silly comparison. So I kind of like that. Take frame 4. Well, if you think about it, when you attack your sword down, if your sword is on your right hand, you would probably have your right foot forward. To get that extension. So find the one with his right foot forward. Unless it's like a jab parry or something. I don't know. I think I should take this frame and put the sword prepared to attack on this one. On 3. So let me copy, paste 3. Now 3 is, hold up. Let me cut, it doesn't let me cut. Let me copy, paste that here. Hold on, let me delete that frame. Copy this and put it here. Boom. So I've got these two, which I'll, whatever. This will be the sword prepared to attack, then the sword attack, and then this is walking, walking. And then this is other side, and like I said, the right side I can duplicate, so this is right and left. So now I just get a sword, and I could delete the first 2 and put the sword on this one. Great, so much useful advice. Noob, you're a boss. Okay. Let's get ink dropper tool. Let's do the outline of the sword. And then, where should the sword start? Kind of like going straight down. Wait, oh, line tool please, thank you. Like that. Ink dropper tool, bucket tool. Bang. kind of like plays with the perspective a little bit, like he goes farther back. It works though. I just want a lot of room for the attack. I mean, that looks better than that. Let me delete this. Should I leave it? Okay, I'm gonna delete this one because I don't want to ever use it. And 1 is the same as 3, so I can delete that one as well. Sword, attack, walk down, walk right, walk up. Let me save this. Good progress. If you want to get fancy, add a new layer between 3 and 4, and use 4 as the base. Add a Nike swoosh to it to show some sword movement. You mean, I changed the numbers around, so you mean in between 1 and 2, add another frame of this with the sword moving. So just copy, paste this one. Make a copy of 2 and insert it in between. Copy, paste. And then this one has a swoosh, and this one is the swoosh is gone. Oh wait, nope, don't fill. Not a fill tool. Hold on, let me do this little thing. I think this might help. And I could actually make the collision be all of this corner, or like, I'll have to use precise the way I'm doing it, so it'll be actually everything that has a pixel will be a collision. Now, let me undo that. Actually, I don't like that last one. Those seem to work. So I've got like boom, shoo. So it'd be like I guess that could work. It kind of like it'll make it so that the player can not just attack straight down, but down and to, I guess, the left side there would be the artwork's right, but character's left, down left would attack. And then so when I'm swinging up, I would make it so that he swings to the top right to balance that out. And then swinging right would be bottom right to middle, and then facing left would be top left to middle. I mean, I like it. That's fantastic. Thank you, noob. So I've made it a 3-frame animation for the attack. Okay. Walking down is 2, walking to the right is 2, walking to the left is 2, walking up is 2. So I need 3 more attack animations. Okay, cool. I think that's good. Let me save this. Let me go back to the long play and find a frame that's got the swinging sprite. Okay, so I found one, but it's kind of hard to see right here. I can't like just show it because I can show the still frame, but like not the video. I don't want to get claimed. Hey, that's pretty good. So this is the one I'm going to try to do. So this is the charge to attack up, and I could essentially copy 8, paste that, draw a sword on it, raise the shield a little bit, and separate the shield from the body. Okay, I mean that should work. So 8. It'll be kind of like 8, but a little bit different. Let me copy this frame. Let's go to 9 and paste it. So I've got 8, 9. How does it do that? Aseprite's copy pasting is very weird though. I wanted this frame. I want to copy this frame and then paste it at the end. So this is I need to delete duplicate. That's a duplicate. Also don't want to accidentally delete my frames though. So I periodically go through, make sure I have all of them. Once again, it put a duplicate here. It's so weird, man. Can I copy this? And then I need this one on frame 11. Does anybody know why it does that, or how to? Like when you paste a frame in, where does it add it? It seems like it's going to add it right here at 9, making 10 become 11, which is not what I want. I want to be able to put this frame at the end. What if I select both of them and paste it? It does the same thing. So I've got 3 of these, 2 being duplicates. Let's delete this duplicate. Delete this duplicate. What if I copy, paste, and then copy, paste, and now I have 2 of these at the end, and then I copy this, paste this at the end. That didn't do anything. I just have 2 of each of these now. So Aseprite, I love it, and everything about it except for this. The whole copy pasting of frames. And why did it that time delete? Was it because I had the mouse in there? Did you see that? Like delete that frame. It's so strange. I would like to copy frame 8 and put it as frame 10. Does anybody understand how to make it do that? So make a copy of 2 and insert, okay, blah, blah. Hello, Helps Nonprofit Law Firm. Can you play all the sprites so we can know what they look like? Hold control, then drag it to the end. You know you can tag them, right? The animation will look better. Okay, wait, hold control and drag it? Okay, hold on. Let me hold control and drag it to the end. Oh my god, dude, you rock. Oh, sure, I'll play all the animations. You're a pixelated guy, can't help with the Aseprite in particular. Thank you, Helps Nonprofit Law Firm. Here's the first frame, charging to attack down, and then this is swinging, and then there's the final frame of the attack. And then this is the 2-frame walk animation. And then here's the 2-frame move to the right. And then here's the 2-frame moving up. And then this is the third one, which I'm going to draw a sword on. So this will be the first frame of the attack up animation, in which I just add a new frame, and then drawing the sword hitbox is going to be the most complicated one. I'm also, I mean, this is too early to think about, but I'm also going to have to redesign my state machine because of the way that I've set it up using Sean Spaulding's. It's kind of, I'm just using a different method, so like, I'm not going to copy bit masks of one image, I'm just going to make hitboxes on this object. Or of this sprite when I draw the object. Anyway. Thank you again, Helps. You were very helpful. I can close this. Alright, so let's draw the sword. Let me get my my reference up again. So he's got his left foot forward, and he's got his sword back, and shield up high. So we need to raise this shield and separate it a little bit to the left. And we need to bring his hand back a little bit and draw the sword. Alright. Let's do the select tool. I'm going to select, wait, not his head though. I kind of just want to grab where the shield's at. Raise it up and to the right. Up, like that. Of course, I gotta fix everything that happened here, but that's okay. Ink. Let's try to fix our black lines. So from where the bandana, or the whatever is around his head, looks more solid, like right here. And this can go like that. This will be like more of the outer shell of it. And this kind of has like this effect. This goes 2 along the bottom. It's really hard to see the actual number though. I need one more. It needs to be more like this. And then we can take this and go like that. Yeah, that looks a little better. Maybe this can go up here. Let's get this attached. Something like that. I feel like there's a transparency right there. There might be a couple of transparencies right here. Nah, it's probably just this lighter purple here. Okay, that's a little bit cleaner. Let's fix the black lines over here. left side's looking a little bit better. This foot in shadow, like this comes out, and this more like that. But then this also is kind of like that. I mean, yeah, like that. Alright. And as far as this has got like some more shadow over here because we're crunching up his arm. These are all supposed to be white pixel. And then purple? It's kind of weird. Oh, I suppose it's his hair coming down. But his hair isn't that long. It's also weird where it's at. Let me just do this. We'll do one for the hair. Used to be some white in here. And then this comes out more. I'm not sure about this whole part. It's kind of tough. I feel like there's a lot more. Okay, this is where the sword is going to start. How do I start this? Gosh, it's so complicated. It's like just pixels. It's just pixels, bro. Let me just erase. I need to actually boom, get out. There we go. Now I can just kind of start drawing what I think should be there. Maybe this, and this. And then the sword should just start right here. And we need to use a different color for that. So they're using a purple. No, it's a black lining with purple. So let's go like this. Why is it so hard? Oh, okay, the purple overrides this black because it's closer to the camera, so it makes sense. And then you have this white dot to show like the center of the sword. And then let's use the line tool and draw from, well actually this goes here like that. And then this is where the sword kind of pokes to the right, past the foot. And then like right here. That's a weird looking sword. Let's do better lines. Oh, it's not line tool. Come on, boy, get on that line tool. That'll work, maybe. Let's go paint bucket. Wait, dropper, paint bucket. That one pixel at the end, I don't know. I suppose it's fine. Also thinking maybe there needs to be one like that, and then like that. This part though, like, it kind of looks weird. I feel like I can do the lines better. How does it look over here? They literally have a little bit thicker sword. Like that, and then go with, no, not that, with this. It looks a little crooked, but I mean sometimes pixel art, when you zoom in it looks crooked, you zoom out, it looks fine, it still looks crooked. Let's try to straighten this up. Maybe I can just straighten this up manually. Let's go like this, 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 this. Delete these. And then get one more of these in here. Same thing is going on with this one. Gosh. Why is pixel art so hard? Cleaning it up makes all of the little things stick out more like that. Okay, I think I'm happy with that though. Wait, one more like that. I kind of want one more little purple dot right here. And then that makes me want to have an outline right here more. No, I don't like that. What about right here? And then the black outline goes like so. And then actually this can go more like this. Okay, I think that's as close. It does look different than the one. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Come on thing. It can be a little smaller. Go. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. So you can see it looks different. This one comes down past the foot a little bit farther. It's more of a down. This one's kind of, oh god. The more I look at this, the less I like mine. But you can see what I'm trying to do here. It looks completely different. It's a different angle too. The sword is coming down at like 315. This is closer to like 320. So the sword should be coming down like this. Should I change it? Should I leave it? It looks funny. It's very weird. I'm so torn. Check up on chat. What do you mean by tagging them? Helps nonprofit law firm. Tag them? How do I tag them with what? How do I tag them and how does that help me? Thank you, by the way. Don't forget to add the song I made you. Honey, I'm gonna add all the music at the end. I've told you. I'm not even touching it. I've got so much to do. The sound and music at the very end. I'm going to add your song. Absolutely. I think it's fantastic. Hey Jazz, how you doing? Thank you. Jay Bevel says, hey, it's Aseprite, super cool, man. I can only pop in real fast, but just wanted to say hope you're having a great day. Same thing, back at you, Jay. Have a fantastic day. Looks fine. You will make a lot of passes over the sprite as time goes on. Okay, we'll leave it like that for now. Me and Aseprite, I'm going to draw a metal ball. Reality, I have drawn a gray cabbage. Ghostly says, I kind of wish I was a game dev. Well, why aren't you, Ghostly? Nothing wrong with picking up as a fun hobby on the side. Picking up RPG Maker MV and throwing together a little adventure in like an hour. Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And then as you get better and devote more time to it, you start making your own art assets, maybe trying out other engines. You tired? School is fun? Oh yeah, Jazz, you're doing that, you're doing game dev school, huh? How's that going? I mean, obviously you said it's fun. What are you guys actually, in practicality, what are you doing? Is like a class of 20, 30 people and there's an instructor telling you to open up your application and go through a process? Or are they just talking? And do you have multiple classes? I'm curious to see what you're actually learning and what you're doing. Like, what does the class consist of? So I'm going to leave it like that. I think Noob has got a good point in that, like, I'm going to be going over this again multiple times if I actually decide on using it. So we'll let that stick for now. Oh my gosh, and I drew it right here instead of on this one. Fantastic. Control and drag it out. But that's a good trick, using control to move it around. Let me make sure I have all my art assets. This is the first charging to attack down. That's the swing down, and that's the final animation of attack. Walking down, walking to the right, and left, because I'll flip those. That's the attack up, but that's also at the end, so let's delete this here. Oh no, delete this whole frame, okay. Walking right and left, and then walking up, and then this is the walking up, and then this is the charging for an attack, and then we have to do the swinging the sword upright. And this will be a tough one. This will be much different. I might as well just draw a new. This looks really weird up here, though. It's really fun. You're prototyping a card game, making the first week so you can know each other better. We work in little groups with the programmers and stuff. Cool. Awesome. All of this brightness, what is this supposed to simulate? Like, the shoulder is closer? Or like, I don't know. I feel like it should be shadowed because it's kind of being crunched up. But on the thing, it shows darkness here. Actually, let me just add a couple things. Oops, not that. Sorry, select this, hotkeys. Okay, and we'll select this, go like this. Looking at it, I can add a couple of darkness frames right there. Maybe like that, and then like that. That makes a little bit more sense to me now. You know it's coming together. Thinking this morning I just had nothing, and I've just been at it all day. Now I have some actual animations that look okay. I mean, they're not great, but they look okay. I just got to get the last bit of them. I have the down attack. I've got all my movement ones. I just need to get my attack ones. I need the attack to the right, and I need the attack to the top. And I have the first charge of the attack. So I need 1, 2, 3 3 more sprites with the possibility to make a couple of quick extra, like Nike swooshes for, like Noob said. Maybe this little black dot also looks good. It does. Sweet. Okay, let me save progress. And let me actually find the next one where this guy is swinging upwards. Oh, I just missed it. Let's go back. I want to see if I can get that again. It's so hard because this game is very fast. And you go from swinging to charging immediately. Fantastic game. I want to pay homage to this game by making something like it, but obviously my own game. Come on. That would work for drawing left, but I want to get this drawing attack up sprite. Come on, boy. Come on, boy. He's going to aim up. Get him. There it is. Got it. Alright, so it took a second to find a frame, but this is the frame. So we're going to be trying to draw this sprite. You can see it's just a big block of shadow here and a big white block to simulate that, I guess he's stepping to the right and his sword is going forward. So they got rid of the whole shadow base so that they can bring the sprite down so that it'll fit. Because normally on every other frame, you've got like this big circle shadow, but they got rid of it because they needed more room for this sword's collision box. So I'm basically just going to drag the sprite down and start from the bottom and then try to change this one, after I copy it, into this one. Or should I start fresh? No, I should keep this one as a reference and edit that. That way I don't get too far off. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we've got this one, this one, this one. Down, down, right. I just don't want to lose my frames in here. So I'm going to copy this one and then paste it. And so we have 2 of them. I'm going to edit the 11 so that this one will look like the sword being attacked straight up. Okay, so the obvious thing I have to do is to bring the entire sprite down some, like this. 3 frames. That way I've got room for the sword. The sword is about as long as the sprite itself. So I'm really going to be bringing it down a couple more. Another one. And I'm going to be scrunching up the sprite a little bit and getting rid of the shadow in order to make room for the sword that goes to the very top of the hitbox. Should I go down one more? I think that's good. Okay. So obviously we can erase some here and get rid of this sword because it's no longer going to be drawn right here. Alright. Starting from the bottom, we've got a shadowy foot on the right hand side. Kind of goes up. And then the shield gets drawn. We can erase this side too. The shield seems to be drawn right above this as a circle. So let's go over it in a black layer. It's kind of like a nice looking, it's almost like he has his shield facing away from him to, rah! He's like lunging so his shield is thrown back so that his front can. And it's a good anime, it's a good sprite. For 2 frames for an attack, like, it's really good. SNK really did a good job of animating back in the day. Back in that diddy day. But it is like half of it. So it's like half of this right here. So, and it goes all the way up to head level. So we'll start curving in here, like so. And then it starts coming down, like that. Alright, so we need to kind of erase this bottom area because it's transparency level to show that we're stepping forward. I wonder if they're actually drawing another sprite, the sword sprite, on top of it and not doing it like the way I'm doing it. You know, like they could be drawing the sword as its own animation on top, because the size of the animation is pretty huge. It's like the charge is part of the sprite, but then when they go to attack, they draw another sprite on it, which is like I would be doing as drawing an object, but that doesn't work when I code it the way I do. Because if you're moving when you attack, it's going to look funny. I suppose I can have an alarm that automatically removes it super fast. But I've already done so much this method, I'm going to go with it and do my best. And then we'll change it over time. There needs to be one level of nothing, so it's got to be like this. But over here instead. Once again, are we drawing a foot? Are we drawing a leg? Neither. We're drawing lines and dots and trying to trick a brain into thinking that they're actually there. Gosh, I don't know, because I've scrunched the image and they don't appear to scrunch the image very much. They went down like 3-4 pixels, and I'm obviously not using the same resolution as they are, but I think they're just drawing another sprite on top of it, which is not how I'm doing it, so I actually have to shrink it, which makes it more difficult for sure. Where am I? Okay. Let's just start trying to put stuff where it should be. I mean, it kind of works. It's weird, but it's gonna work. Let's draw a sword now. So, endpoint would be here. Gonna diagonal it like that. I don't know, I kind of feel like it should be like this. There we go. Maybe like that. It's still not the same. Like, obviously you can see from this one, why does it always do that? You can see from this one, the overall size is larger. Like, they didn't reduce this image. Almost like the actual size of the image is larger, or they're drawing another individual object on top of this. Like, the sprite only goes out to here, and then they drew this sword on top of it, which they could do. But this is going to work for us. It's going to be weird when I switch frames. You'll see what I'm talking about right now. Because look. Because look at the size of this. You know, you see this guy's size, you get used to him walking. And then, boom, tiny little guy. But if you compare it to this one, it looks tiny here too. This is very weird sprite. But for some reason it works. It doesn't, like, if you look at this by itself, and you really zoom in, you can't see anything. It looks all like nothing, just a mess of pixels. But you zoom out, and you can imagine that it's a sword. You just imagine it. Pixel art is so weird. And it's such a crazy, subtle art. And like, as weird as this is, it'll work. He's like actually shrinking. He's actually getting smaller, but it works. Kinda. And I'll do Noob K's copy, paste, and then on this one we do the little swooshy swoosh. So from this corner to the top, boom, we do like the little Nike curvy swoosh. So let's go from here to like all the way down here. Gosh, come on. There we go. It's not exactly what I wanted. Let's try this. Let me erase this and start over. What is happening? Oh, I'm in the middle of a click. I want a squiggly line that goes from here to here and then also down to here. Why is it doing a circle? Like a curve tool from here to here. Why does it try to do? You know what? I'll do it by hand. It's fine. I mean, that works, right? So you've got this. You're walking up. You prepare your attack and you swing. Walking along. Hadouken. Walking along. Whoa. Psych, 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 psych. Whoa. Psych, 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 psych. No, I like it. I'm a fan. It doesn't look, if you stare at the pixels, you're like, this is not an image. It looks like blobby, nothing. You zoom out, you put it in the right context, and it animates it illustrates the point. It's so strange. Pixel art is very weird. But I'm a huge fan. And I'm getting better. That's good. What's up? Let me read some chat real quick. Volpe retracted a message? What did you say, Volpe? What did you say? They look really good, dude. Better than Vestman or Leather Helmet. Thank you, Jazz. It's all coming together. Can't see the game. I think it's 9. Use that frame as the base. 9? Yeah. Why do you have to put it so low? The sword can still hit the top of the frame even if your character isn't so low. It'll look off if you make such a dramatic change in position between frames. Try it out first though, I guess, see how it looks. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I was kind of predicting something like that, because like, he's jumping back so many frames right here. But it does, I mean, I don't know. I'll see what I can code to make it like not so jumpy. It's all a learning process, Volpe. Hey Kismo, how you doing? All he has to do is use frame 9 too. He already did the work. What engine do you say I should use for a platform fighter? GMS2, cool, Sora. Or, if you don't have the money for it, Godot. Just make a right triangle shape for the swoosh. Right triangle. Does that work though? I think that kind of works. The sword is here, and then it goes up. Yeah, I think that's fine. Leather helmet was the best. He is right. You did not need to make some of your changes you made for the sword swing. When facing north. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that I'll probably edit this more. I could have just moved the sword instead of the character, and that's what Volpe was saying. Like, I could have just kept the character exactly the same, but then changed maybe the footwork. No, I needed to move I actually needed to move the shield. I can't just make the sword move, because when you swing a sword, do you just move your arm? No, you're going to take a step forward and maybe turn your shield. You know, like, if I just move the sword right here, it would look funny. It would look like the sword is moving and the rest of the pixels are staying there. I get that it's going to look a little jarring because I'm moving the head and scrunching the sprite. But it's going to, I mean, at least I had to do something to make the shield come from sideways to back to show motion. And the same thing with the footwork, to make the right foot look like it's going forward to show motion. Or what it actually looks like is I'm taking a step back and swinging the sword. Because if you watch the left foot, it makes sense if you imagine the person is actually taking a step back and swinging the sword. Now that's not like my original intention, but I think it still works. And if it has some sort of jarring thing, I may be able to just offset the sprite with GML. So I'm gonna see what happens. I'm still happy with the changes. I'm almost done with it. I do need one more, right? Because I have my down attack, I have my up attack, and all the walking. I need the right attack. And then I need to like deploy it in the right way. Hold on. How you doing? Doing all right? Everything good? Yeah. Almost done. Sorry about that. I'm running out of time. No, it was someone's at the door, and also I just kind of like said I was going to stream till 4 as a thing, and I'm almost done. I just want to finish it. It's so close. Okay. Let's take a copy of the facing to the left and get. I need two more frames. I just need two more frames. I need the charge to the right, and then the swing to the right. It's 2 frames. Let me scrub through this video and find the sprite. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but I need to get this. Something like this. So it's basically this. Wait, no, it's this. Hold up. 7, frame 7. So it's kind of like this sprite, except the shield comes down into the front of. So like I basically just draw a giant shield right here, and then a sword that comes down to the backside. I mean, if you think about it, that's more like he switched his sword and shield around. But games do this all the time. He's facing to the right, so you would think his shield. So they drew this with him facing left as the first sprite, and then flipped it for the right side. That's what they did to save space. And I am not afraid to do the same thing. So I'm going to ignore that he switches his sword and shield when he faces to the right. A lot of games do this. So I'm going to add, actually I'll just copy this one. This is frame 7. And I'm going to change it up a little bit by erasing the front of this a bit. And I guess I'm going to straighten up. He shrinks down a bit. So I am going to move all of this except for his feet down 1. And still looks the same right there. Looks the same, looks the same. The eye kind of gets clearer. I don't know how that happens. Maybe, oh, this goes like this. And then this is where his eye is at. This goes away like that. And then that looks like it's correct. And then this goes away. Hold up. What color is it? It's going to be, let's use this color for right here. It's not exactly the way it looks though. Let's kind of copy a little bit better. obviously it's not going to be exact, and I don't want it to be exact. I just kind of want it to be maybe a little bit closer. Mm-mm. Okay, that'll work. I can't like see what I'm doing here. Let me erase the center part a little bit. And even that. Okay. And then I think, let's just fill it with purple, because we're going to make a shield here. And we'll do the outline of a shield. The shield is pretty big. So let's make the shield kind of go like that. And we make this. I'm so close, guys, but I'm also running out of time. I'm going to keep working on this today, and hopefully I'll have something that we can look at, and something that'll look better in game. And I'll try to set it up in game. I've got to get these just right, then I need to export them. I need to export them in the right order, and as several different GIFs. But I'll go through them quickly, which ones we have. I've got almost all of them. I'm short this sprite where he's charging his attack to face right, and he's attacking to the right. So I need this, finish this frame and one more frame, and then I need to export them in the right order, put them in Game Maker Studio, and then replace the sprites I have with these sprites, and then check my state engine so that it'll tell the difference when I'm walking, when I'm attacking, and also what direction I'm facing. So it changes my image index. I'll do a lot of image index manipulation, and I'll also go through and make adjustments so that when I go from like this to this, it doesn't look so like I'm changing my position, more looks just like he's stepping back or stepping forward. Same thing with this. I mean, he still kind of steps back to do that one right there. And I'm trying to replicate the style as best as I can. But thank you guys so much for coming to the live stream. I wish I had more time. I will stream tomorrow at 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out on the Discord. I'd love to see you guys on the Discord. I post updates to my progress on Discord. Links in the description below. As well on Twitter, I put GIFs up on Twitter of my progress as well, and I retweet all kinds of cool pixel art stuff I see and game devy stuff I see. I'll read the chat real quick, and then I got to go. If you like this video, you like what you see here, you like what I'm doing, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/driftwoodgaming, and like this video, subscribe to the channel. I got a bunch of stuff like it. Skepsis says, great progress, Drifty. Thank you for sharing your game dev journey. No problem. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming. Jasmine, Skepsis, D, Volpe, Coolsora7, Krondor 1001, Noob KX, Nox, Gizmo, Ghostly, everybody else who I did. Oh, especially Helps Nonprofit Law Firm. Thank you so much for the control-click info to help me use Aseprite. I really appreciate that. It's very helpful. Very helpful. New KX, thank you so much for all the battlers and everything you've sent me. I appreciate it. Nixon, thanks for stopping by. Rick Fox, I think you already left, but thanks for stopping by. Tim Van Der Ploeg, thank you so much. Yakub Ayers, Superboss Jason 1, Epic Mighty in a Cloud, Jeremiah Black. Anybody who I didn't mention or I missed, Carl Jones, Vero Claw. You guys are awesome. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day, and keep making games. Bye, guys.